Hello and welcome to your stretch class today. We're going to be focusing on just a full body stretch, but we have a pretty big bias towards our hip releasing through the hip flexors, quads and hamstrings, and also through the adductors, so up near your groin and inner thighs. I've had a lot of you request that I do some lower body hip isolation sort of stretch orientated classes, so here it is. So to get started, we're going to come into a nice wide plie stance. So it's similar to a squat position, but we're going to be turning our legs out. So when we do this one, we want to try and turn the legs out from the hips, not just from rotating the toes out towards the side. So we're going to be angling, rotating, pulling around from the hips as much as we can. And we're also going to be thinking about the positioning through our trunk. So we want to be drawing the tailbone down towards the floor. So I'll show you that from the side. So I naturally have a really big curve, so I'm a great example to use because it's a big contrast for me. So this is a natural position for me, and we're working on lengthening out, just taking some of the load off the vertebrae and the lower back there into a nice neutral position. Okay, so from here, we're going to push the knees out towards the side, lowering down in a plie or a nice low squat, sinking the hips through as far as you feel comfortable. I have quite a lot of range here. If you can just get to, halfway and then rise back up, that's good. Whatever range, as long as you're getting to your maximal range here. And given that we're a little bit cold, we're not super warm, please be easy on yourself. All right, so we're going to lower down, down, and then rise it all the way back up. So you feel free to have your hands on your knees here, just to support you through your balance. And we want to try and keep your core active. So try not to be passive through the upper body. Still thinking about pushing your tailbone down towards the floor. And we're going to try and move through this range now. So sink down as far as you can and then rise. Lower and rise. So keep it moving. Getting nice and warm as we do this one. Making sure the knees aren't collapsing in. Keep pushing them out to the side. Lifting up through the arches of your feet. Rise and lower. Relax your shoulders. And let's go 2 more. And last one, hold it down. Let's all go with our hands to our legs here. And you actually want to put a fair bit of weight through the legs, kind of levering off the hands and the thighs. So if I was to let go, I would sink down and lose my balance. That was a great example. All right, so we want to push the knees out towards the side, and let's see if we can start shifting from one foot to the other. Don't stress, see my shoulders are up near my ears. It's a little bit hard to push up and away. So you can do that as much as you like, but make sure that doesn't mean that you are then rising up and activating through the glutes. We want to have the glutes and the hips nice and relaxed here. Keep shifting, pushing the knees out towards the side. Ooh, big stretch in your inner thighs here, groin. Okay, and then we're going to activate through the legs. So take the weight out of the hands so you're holding this position here, and then rise it all the way back up. Okay, so turning the legs into a parallel position now. We're going to be coming into a hinge from the hips. Now we want to make sure we're not rounding through the spine as we do this one. So your legs are quite wide, and we're just going to push the bottom back. Nice flat spine, bringing the chest all the way down towards the floor, just as far as you can, and then rising it all the way back up. And again, lowering down. And then rising all the way back up. Let's go 2 more times. And last one, we're going to hold it. And then bend your knees if you need to bring your hands down towards the floor. Okay, so try and get the hands relatively flat. We're trying not to push up onto the thumbs or the fingertips too much here. Feel free to grab a stool. You can have the elbows on the stool or your chair. If you're just like that awkward amount of space between your hands and the floor there, you could grab a pillow, okay? And then from here, we're going to bend into the knees, push the hips down, bring the chest through, and then rise it all the way back up, pushing the chest through towards the thighs as much as you can, straightening through the legs. And we also want to think about pushing your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So we're getting into the hamstrings. You might feel your calf muscles a little bit here. And then as we sink down, We're stretching through the ankles, the knees, the hips. You might feel your lower back a little bit as well. Okay, let's keep moving through this range. So lower down, down and up, up. Keep it moving. Down and rise. These feel so good. I'm really sore today. Let's go 2 more. And last one. And up. Okay. And we're going to bring the feet together and we're just going to come down into a lunge position from here. So let's start with the knee stacked directly underneath your hip on the bottom leg. And then we're going to bring the heel so it's stacked underneath the knee on the supporting leg here. And then we're just going to shift your hips forward. And now you'll notice that your knee tracks over the toes. If your heel lifts off on the bottom side, that's okay. Okay, just try and push it down towards the floor as much as you can without shifting the back leg away from you. So it is meant to be a narrow lunge rather than an extended lunge. And then we're going to come back up. So we should still be in that square position when we rise back up to the center. And then we're going to push the hips back, bring the hands down towards the floor. Your foot stays still. And you're going to try and sink the hips down towards the heel on the back leg. Okay, you can flex the foot on the front leg. And then we're going to reach as far forward as you can. Okay, so the knee and the foot are staying in the same position the whole time. And then shift it back forward. So I'm hoping that you're getting a little stretch or an intense stretch depending on how tight you're feeling here through the hip flexor and the quad. Okay, you might feel your ankle and calf a little bit on the front leg. I definitely feel that there today. And then we're going to extend back, square yourself up, and then push the hips back. My foot stays here. And then reaching forward, feeling the hamstring, calf muscle. You might feel the knee or even the ankle on the bottom foot. If this is a restriction for you, having the foot flat, just tuck the toe under. That might be a little bit nicer for you. And you just want to flex that foot on the front leg to still get the hamstring stretch, if that then makes it a little bit more mild, lifting the heel. Okay, and let's do one more. Sinking forward. This time for the last one, let's see if we can add a little reach back with the chest. You can have the hands on the hips, or if you're feeling pretty stable here, you can bring the arms behind you. And then tuck the chin back if you were in the extension. The last one, walking it back here. Pull the toes up towards you. Feel free to physically pull them towards you with the hand. Nice. And then come all the way up. Other side. So coming into the 90-90 with both legs. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to sink forward. And remember, whenever we're in our lunge position, it's just like the other classes. We want our feet and knee to be in our hip distance apart. We're not walking on the tightrope. Makes it a lot harder to balance here. All right, so bringing it out, sinking forward if you haven't already. Move through it in your own time. You don't have to do it in the exact time with me. Relaxing through your shoulders. And extending back. Remember, it all stays still. And rising back up, sinking the hips back through. Feel free to let the heel elevate if it feels better for you. But you do want to make sure you are getting a little bit of a stretch in the front ankle. If you aren't and your heel is flat on the floor, that's no stress. It's just not a range that you need to push through today. Okay, and then extending back, flexing the foot. Remember, you can tuck the toes at the back if it feels better for your ankle. And coming back through. Try and slow your heart rate a little bit. Nice deep breath in. And exhale, relaxing off through the shoulders. Keeping our core engaged. Second last time, we're extending back here. And last one, Now for this one, remember you can add a little extension so you can keep the hands on the hips and reach back, or you can take the arms behind you. Feel free to drop the chin back, but just make sure you pull the chin back to your chest before you come up. And coming up for everyone and extending back last time. Okay, and we're just going to flip over onto your bottom when you're ready, and we're going to go into a couple of rollbacks. So rolling all the way off the tailbone, all the way up towards the shoulders, and then returning back to that starting position. If this hurts your tailbone to rise up and over it each time, just start by laying flat on the back and then just add little lifts here, and then just rock to whatever point it feels okay through the tailbone, okay? So it should get to a point where it's just on the lower back. You don't have to go right to the tip of the tailbone there. It's not worth aggravating it. You'll get just as much out of this little bit of flexion if you're doing a reduced range. Let's go 4 more for everyone. And 1. Okay, so laying flat on your back from here, we're going to keep one foot planted on the floor as we pull one knee in towards the chest. Just relax the head down on the floor, and we're going to circle through this leg. Don't stress if this feels pretty mild for you. Little circles. Okay, and then just let the other leg drop out towards the side. Keep circling the leg that you've got pulled in towards the chest. You can relax off through the foot as well, so just let it fall into whatever position it goes into when it's passive. You're not trying to hold a pointed or a flexed foot here, just ease it off. This should feel really nice. I think it does anyway. One of my favorite things to ask is this feeling good for everyone? And I think the response is always, I'm not sure if good is the word I'd use. So my new thing is to say, I'm hoping that it feels beneficial to everyone. So I'm hoping that this feels beneficial for you all, but I definitely think this actually feels nice. So let's go other side. You can let the leg fall out to the side when you're ready on the opposite leg. Relax off through your foot. You're pulling your knee as close as you can towards your chest. If you're feeling a little bit of a flick in the hip, near the hip flexor especially, it's not something to be concerned about unless it's kind of like a grinding, sandy, kind of gritty sound. If it's just like a clunk and it doesn't hurt, it's pretty normal, it's pretty common, okay? If it is like that gritty, grindy kind of feeling or sound, I would go and see a physio about it and see if it's something that you need to kind of work through. Alright, so we're going to bring our legs out into a frog position from here, and then we're going to push the heels up towards the ceiling and then tap them back down. So we're just getting a couple of little external rotators, lift and lower, pushing up. Keep pushing the knees out towards the side, and we'll just go for 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're going to pull both knees up towards your chest. So you're in a kind of extended frog position from here, holding whatever way you like. We're going to be extending through the knees. So you might want to hold just below, over the thigh, just below the knees. You can hold underneath. Okay, just try not to wrap your legs around because then they'll slip off the knees there. All right, so whatever range you're at, say if you're a little bit more elevated, we're just going to extend up from here as far as you can and then bend it all the way back down into your frog. Okay, so whatever range is your end range here. Okay, now we're going to point the feet as it draws in, so your toes are pointing towards each other. And then as we extend the legs away, flex the feet, so pull the toes away and push the heels away as well. And pointing it in. And flex. And point it in. Keep moving through this range. quickly. And 2 more. And 2. Okay, and drawing the legs all the way together now. And we're going to go into some twists from here. So bending both legs up, and we're going to take both legs down towards the side, and we're going to keep your shoulders, both of them pushing down towards the floor as hard as you can, and then extend the top leg away, bending it all the way back in, and square the body back up to go to the other side. So we're avoiding where this shoulder lifts up off the floor the opposite way. So keep that shoulder down, and you're only twisting as far as you can keep that shoulder anchored. So if it means that you get to here and you don't extend the legs, that's fine. We're just going to your end range, and everyone's going to be really different here. Be nice and gentle with this one too. Use your breath, exhale as you twist around. We're just getting into releasing the lower back, middle back a little bit. Rotation should hopefully feel like a nice change from our normal forward folding and extension that we go through in just our everyday kind of patterns. More so flexion, the forward bending is the most common. Okay, and we're going to rise all the way up when you're ready, flipping over into a 4-point kneel. Now for this one, we're going to be working through just the shoulder sort of isolation through the scaps, shoulder like right through the front of the shoulder capsule as well. Now this one can be a little bit tricky, and I've found it's 50-50 on what people find is the most natural, so I want you to pick what way you circle. So we're going to drop, I like to drop down, rise the shoulders up and push away this way. Some people like to push down and away. Okay, whatever one you want to do. So we're going to sink through the shoulder blades, either pushing up or away, reaching the shoulders towards the ears if you're reaching up first, push the floor away from you, push the shoulders down away from the ears, and then sink back through. So round and rise. It can take a couple of goes to kind of get this movement happening correctly. A lot of the time people want to bend and extend through the elbows. Try and keep your elbows straight, and it's the same sort of positioning that we work through when we're setting the shoulders, where we sink down and then push the floor away from us. But we're just adding the shrug as well. So it's that protraction and retraction, elevation and depression through the shoulders, all happening kind of in conjunction. Should feel really good. Really beneficial. Okay, I actually find this starts to feel like I'm doing a Pilates exercise. Like it should get a little bit challenging, pushing yourself all the way up to your end range and then pushing the floor away from you. So feel free to reverse it if you want to. All right, and we're going to lower the elbows down towards the floor now. Legs can kind of be in a tucked or slightly extended, just go wherever it's comfortable. And we're going to shift from one side, pulling the opposite shoulder down towards the forearm, and then the other side, twisting across. So where I'm hoping you start to feel this stretch is down the side of the arm here, so through your delts there. So we're sinking across, kind of in like a backward diagonal, and then you're trying to close the gap from your chest and the arm that you're twisting towards. Then come back up and twist across again. Good. If you're not quite feeling it, when you shift to one side, see if you can kind of shift back with the hips or forward with the hips a little bit more. Okay, you might just need to adjust yourself slightly. And then go other side. You can do the same thing, shifting forward and back. Okay, and then go back to the single sort of time shifts. Just a couple more. Okay, and we're going to come onto our belly for the next one. Just getting into some Supermans with some scap retraction here, warming up through the back before we get into our passive extension work. So this is our active work, mobility, okay, strength through range. We're going to extend the arms up and push the legs away from you. And now try and keep, so just watch this one and then join in once you've seen it, because I want you to try and keep your chin drawn towards your chest and your eye gaze down towards the floor. So we're going to squeeze through your bottom and your hamstrings. Your lower back is also working as well. And before you lift, I want you to think about engaging through the core, so you're not pushing the belly into the floor to lift you up. And then we're going to lengthen away, lifting both, and then we're going to try and pull the elbows down towards your hips. Reach them away, and then lower all the way back down. So there's no rush. Join in whenever you're ready. Rising up, eye gaze stays down towards the floor. Pull the elbows in. Doesn't matter how high you're getting with the chest and the legs. We just want to make sure that you're not pushing the chin up towards the ceiling to try and increase your range here. Alrighty, let's keep it going. Rising up, pulling in, reaching away, and lowering down. Remember to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's go 2 more. And now on your next one, we're going to hold the arms up. And we're going to try and reach your opposite hand to foot as we bend it in. And then extend back away, twisting around. Good. So you don't have to be able to touch the foot to be able to do this one correctly. So you could just reach this way. You don't even have to twist through the upper body. And then other side. Whatever range is good for you. Let's go 3 more. 2. And 1. Ooh, good job. Hoping that your back is feeling a bit warmer now. So we're going to push back into a child's pose. Just give it a little breather from that extension, but just be nice and gentle here. Okay, so we're going to come back down, but I want you to start up on the knees if you can. We did these a couple of weeks ago now. I can't quite remember what number it was, but I didn't get any negative feedback from it, so I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed it. So we're going to bring the hands out in front of you, and we want to have them about just wider than shoulder width apart. And now it looks like we're doing a push-up, but there shouldn't be much load happening through the arms that it feels like a strength exercise. It should just be an even amount of load between the arms and the legs. And now we're going to try and sort of glide through this through the arms, reaching the chest down first. Your hips stay up for as long as you can. Okay, so we're going to bend the arms and you push your chest towards the floor. Your hips are elevated, and then you're going to glide the chest along the floor and try and bring the rib cage down. Try and bring the belly button, hips, and then rise all the way back up. Push the floor away from you. We're trying not to collapse in through the shoulders. So rising up as active as we can, squeezing through your bottom. And then we want to think about pulling your rib cage towards your hips, okay, to come all the way back up. So I want you to try and round as much as you can this way before you come back up. Reason why is if we're then here and we're just pushing straight up from there, it's going to have a lot of load through the lower back. So you just want to think about core engaging and then pulling back up, stacking yourself back from there. And then again, bending down, sinking through. Reaching up, push the shoulders away, rib cage towards your hips to draw all the way back in and push it back. Start adding a child's pose and then bend it through. And up. Rounding, pushing back into your child's pose. Last one. Pushing back. And now from here, we're going to stack yourself So the hips are stacked directly in line with the knees. So this is pretty important for this next one. If you're starting back here, then your frog is going to be like this, and it's not quite the position that we're working through today. So we want there to be a straight line from your knees across the hips to the other hip bone, and then all the way across, all right? So we're trying not to break that line either forward or back. I just did it in reverse, but you know what I mean. All right, so we're going to bring the elbows down towards the floor. And then we're just going to go with the chest down if you can. And this is stretching our inner thighs. So right near your groin. And we're just getting a nice static hold here. You can have the heels in line with the knees at the back, or if you want to, you can tuck them in. Whatever feels more sort of stable for you here. If this is not good for you, with your hips or your knees, you can flip over into a frog and then just reach forward from there. It's a little less load because gravity isn't helping kind of pull your hips down, but that might be what you need. So hopefully you can find a happy medium between those two. So we're just going to hold wherever you are for another 30 seconds starting now. And just keep breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, slowing our heart rate right down. Try and relax through your shoulders, through all the muscles in your face, your jaw. Okay, and we're going to draw it all the way up now when you're ready. All right, one last stretch for your inner thighs. We're going to be bringing the bottom knee, so let's say with our right leg, we're going to stack the right knee underneath the hip and extend the left leg out towards the side. Two options with the leg. You can either have it turned in this way, or you can turn it out where you have the foot planted on the floor. There's no better or worse, they're just slightly different with the stretch. You could try both. I'll tell you when you can swap when we're about halfway if you do want to try both of them. Okay, so the first one, whatever you're going to choose, we're going to push the leg out towards the side. Feel free to bring the hands down to the floor. If you're feeling pretty stable here, you can keep the hands elevated, but we're going to be here for a while, and I do want you to be able to kind of ease off into it. So feel free to sink out as far as you can, and then you can bring the hands down towards the floor. Okay, if you're pretty comfortable here, or if it feels better for you, we're going to try and come down onto the elbows, just so we're lengthening out through the lower back a little bit, not sinking into too much extension. Good, feel free to turn the leg in or turn it out if you like, otherwise you can stay where you are. Okay, and let's draw it all the way up when you're ready. And we'll go other side. So pushing the other leg out towards the side now and extending away. Bring the elbows down if it feels comfortable for you. Keeping our core active. Feel free to turn the leg in or out, or you can keep it where it is. And drawing it all the way in when you're ready. All right, flipping over into your bottom. We'll just come into some internal rotation here. Dropping one knee in, and then the other side. You should feel really nice after doing that adductor stretching. All right, and we're going to come back up to standing when you're ready. And I just want you to find a wall or a pole, like a post, whatever you have access to, like a corner. It doesn't have to be a flat wall here, just something that's not going to move when you push against it. And we're going to place the hand on the wall slash post, corner, whatever you've got. And we've got the elbow and the hand in contact with the wall. And then we're just going to rotate around, reaching away, feeling the stretch through the front of the chest here, through the shoulder. Good, this is your first option. Second option, you can keep the arms straight, have the hand planted on the floor, and then you just twist away from there. If it hurts the front of the elbow here, you might just need to add a little bend into the arm. Keep pushing the shoulder away from your ear. And we're going to go other side when you're ready, twisting around, pulling the rib cage through, push the shoulders away from the ears. Holding here for another 10 seconds, keep using the breath. And gently drawing it in. Okay, last one here, we're going to come down into a down dog, and we're just going to walk through the feet, stretching through the calves and hamstrings. Pushing the heels up as high as you can when we lift the foot, and then push the heel down on the bottom side as much as you can. And we're going to step one leg forward for a pigeon, stretching through the side of the glute on the bent leg. Try and have your hips stacked. We're trying not to sink to one side or down onto the hip of the bent leg. And tuck the toe back. And let's go other side. Last one here. And coming all the way back up, pushing the chest through. Nice little hold for 5, 4, 3, and 1. Walking it all the way in, rolling up through the spine. Big shoulder roll back. And that brings us to the end. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you're feeling nice and lengthened. I feel really good now. I was definitely feeling pretty stiff before, and my hips feel awesome. So let me know how you found it. See you next time. Thank you.